field behind me, the summer ahead of us, and all kinds of things flowering. Plus, things coming out of the garden are going to make me hungry. So join us here at Home with Peggy, and I'll share it all with you. Hanging baskets add an enormous amount of cheerfulness and color and just a feeling of life in the summertime to any porch or deck. This one is one of my favorites. Its common name is Million Bells, and this one is purple, but it comes in lots of different shades of pink, even a really beautiful deep rose. The botanical name is Calibrachoa, and one of the things I like about this is not only the color and the abundance of flowers, but it pretty much drops its dead flowers on its own, so it doesn't require a whole lot of pruning. Now, one of the problems with hanging baskets in general is that they tend to need to be watered a lot. Petunias, such as this lovely purple wave, requires an enormous amount of water and has to be watered pretty much on a daily basis. This is a cascading petunia, which is unlike many of the more traditional ones. It's actually called purple wave, and because of the waves of flowers as it comes down. It is beautiful, it's spectacular, you can see it from a distance. However, it does require a fair amount of maintenance, not only watering but pruning. And I have another one that got a little tiny bit neglected. I'm going to show you how to prune it. To keep the plants producing flowers all summer, it's important to occasionally prune it. You can see while this branch still has flowers on the end and some buds about to open, it also has quite a few places where the flowers have finished up. Now, you don't want these to develop into seeds here or here or here or here and take the strength away from making more flowers. Now, this particular branch you can see is covered with places where the flowers used to be. So an occasional pruning to remove these will allow it to branch from further in. And also, if the plant has been under any kind of stress, you were away for a day and didn't get to water it, the roots may have gotten overly dry, a light pruning will help bring it back. Now, all of these were developing seeds. You can see in there that little bump in the center is actually a developing seed. And you don't want the strength to go into seeds. What do you want petunia seeds for? You really want the flowers. That's why you have the plant to begin with. So the occasional pruning to remove, say, just one or two branches every so often will help to take that pressure off, will have it branch further back, and will keep the strength from going into the seeds, keep it in the flowers where you want it. Now, one thing that you can do to help compensate for the fact that they require so much water is a different kind of potting, and I'm going to show you that over here. When you first bring your hanging baskets home, you may want to consider repotting them. This is a larger pot. Most hanging baskets come in 8-inch pots, or you can buy them larger. But the idea of putting them in one size larger will give a reservoir of soil around the bottom and around the edges that'll hold the soil moisture and keep the plants from drying out so quickly. This particular kind of pot has a reservoir in the bottom, and you can fill it from here or fill it from the soil and allow the water to run through. You can see the inside that this part goes all the way down to the bottom of the reservoir. This has a distinct advantage in that it can hold water on the bottom so that you don't have to water it constantly. Now, of course, you want to be careful that the plant doesn't constantly sit in water as well. But this can sometimes give you a little bit of fudge room that you wouldn't have any other way. And when those hanging baskets get droopy and wilted, they're certainly not the joy they're supposed to be. So keep them well watered, repot them if you have to. There's a whole variety of these hanging baskets out there, so they should be readily available at most garden centers. Find the one that you like and enjoy them all summer long. Another summer bloomer is the Stewartia, which will bloom for June and July and just be covered in these magnificent white flowers. You can see every one of these is a bud, so as soon as they open, it's going to be this enormous display of joy and happiness and flowers that just make you feel good to look at it. It's a beautiful plant, low maintenance, doesn't grow too quickly, doesn't require a lot of pruning, and just covered in these wonderful white flowers. Now, one of the things that's really interesting about this plant is not only does it bloom at a time of year when there's not a lot of woody ornamentals blooming, and that it produces so many flowers with so easy care, but I really would like you to take a look at the bark. And the reason for that is the bark peels, and as you get closer and closer in, and as the tree gets older and older, you will see this beautiful peeling bark which provides winter interest as well. So it is a tree for all seasons with beautiful foliage, low maintenance, and wonderful bark that will be attractive all year long. So if you have an opportunity or a spot where you'd like a small to medium-sized tree, you can't go wrong with a Stewartia. Salvaging odd pieces of furniture can be a lot of fun. It's a great way of feeling like you've taken something old and ugly and turned it into something beautiful. But it's also a great way to get something beautiful without spending a lot of money, which is always good in my book. I happen to have very expensive taste and not always enough money in the bank to back that up. So being able to create something beautiful from something that used to be trash is really satisfying on many levels. Now, I want to show you these two small tables. These were actually gotten at a garage sale, and both of these tables were purchased for $10 combined. And in the center here, you can see, is this beautiful rose marble. And this was sort of a dusty rose pink, and it has this antiquing in gold. Now, to be honest, I'm not really sure if these were originally like this or one of the previous owners painted them. You can see on this one that right here, the top was badly scratched and it's off-white underneath, which may be some kind of a primer. So I'm not sure how this was handled, but the inside, if you look at the underside, you can see it's dark wood. It's actually teak. So I'm not sure if it's worth stripping or not. I haven't made that decision, mostly because of all the detail. It would be an enormous amount of work to strip it down. But certainly the combination is well worth $10, either to leave the way it is, repaint, or strip. And it's a nice place to put plants because the marble won't be damaged. So as long as I'm going to use them for plants, I'm not going to worry about refinishing them. I sort of enjoy that kind of funky look with the pink and the gold, and we're going to keep them just like this for a while. Now on my left, we have another interesting piece of furniture. This one had a very low cost. It was in a garbage heap on the side of the road. Spring cleanup is great because you never know what you're going to see, some magical little thing. The veneer was peeling off. It was totally worthless. It was all shades of brown with stains, and it must have been really beautiful because underneath here, underneath these strips of wood that I added, was beautiful inlaid pieces of wood that had an arrow type design. They were very pretty, but bubbling, peeling, missing pieces, and broken. So I painted it to match my daughter's room where she needed to have a nightstand, and painted this edging in the beautiful pink, which is similar to the way I painted her bed and her dresser. Now, in order to cover the inlay, I found these nice pieces of molding that covered it nicely and really went very well with the part that was already on this little piece of furniture. Now, you can see here, this has also all been added to make sure that the veneer that was there stayed on. I love the pink and white combination. I think the added pieces of moldings tie in beautifully with the existing pattern, and the green knobs, which were purchased at Restoration Hardware, match the individual knobs on her dresser on the other furniture. It's a lovely combination that ties in all the colors of her room. The most expensive item on here is definitely the knobs, and I don't have to worry about it because I didn't invest a lot of money in it for a child's room, but I think it's lovely and matches everything else perfectly. So, only a few bucks, put in a little effort, and you've got something really wonderful and lovely that you can pass on. Maybe my daughter will want it for her daughter's room someday. It's hard to believe that this poor, pathetic thing that I'm holding in my hand once competed as one of the most beautiful flowers in the world. It's a lily. Or, well, it is a lily, but it certainly isn't any great beauty at the moment. An Easter lily, in fact, one of many different kinds of lilies, but distinctly different than most garden lilies. This one is Lilium longiflorum. Most people, when it gets to look like this, tend to just throw them onto the compost heap. Now that's where the mistake is. And I'm going to show you how they look if you actually plant them in your garden. This beautiful, compact plant that's covered in flower buds is the same plant that we're used to seeing on Easter Sunday morning. Its natural time of bloom is the middle of the summer, and poor greenhouse owners, they have to go through torture in order to get them to bloom for us regularly on Easter, especially since Easter moves around every year. Now, you need to know that the entire Easter lily industry is created on the West Coast by only 9 large farmers in Northern California and Southern Oregon. The point being that they're hardy out there, but not necessarily hardy in the rest of the United States. So you want to put them in a protected spot because a tough winter can do them in. However, most of the time they'll come back for years and do just fine and bloom for you faithfully every summer. Now, this particular kind of lily, while pure white and stunningly beautiful, is not the only lily that you want to have in your garden. These Asiatic lilies are very hardy and bloom dependably in June. They come in a variety of colors, are about medium height. You get multiple flowers per stem and will come back year after year. These are just lovely, and again, they're hardy and will repeat for many years. Now, these June bloomers are followed by the tall Aurelian hybrids that can get 6 or 7 feet tall. The problem with them, of course, is that they do need to be staked. But again, they will come back year after year, sometime in July, maybe to the latter part of that month. Now, you can see this one right here is just getting started. This is an Oriental lily and will bloom in late July, sometimes into early August. They have the biggest, most open flowers and the most wonderful scents. So, if you start with the Asiatic, plant a few Aurelian hybrids, followed up by the Oriental lilies, you can have lilies in bloom for 3 months of the year. It's hard to beat that because they'll come back year after year. Don't think you're limited to just the traditional spring flowering tulips and daffodils. Expand your horizons and plant lilies. You will certainly enjoy them for many years. In New Jersey, magnolias are traditionally thought of as a spring flower. And with the wonderful magnolias that we have and their beautiful pink and white flowers, there's no reason why we shouldn't think of them in the spring. However, this beautiful magnolia may produce one of these wonderful white blossoms at any time during the summer. It's not a traditional deciduous magnolia, it's the beautiful evergreen southern magnolia. Now, most of these are not considered hardy in central Jersey. They are sometimes doing well in a very protected spot as far north as, say, the Princeton area. But this one is a special variety. I want you to look at the underside of the leaves, and you can see that it's quite brown, browner than most. This particular variety is called Bracken's Brown Beauty, and it was found as a sport or a spontaneous mutation growing in a magnolia field. It tends to stay very compact and is very winter hardy. It keeps its leaves. In a rough winter, it will brown a little bit around the edges. It may lose a few leaves, but it has survived in this very exposed location for many years now and produces these enormous white flowers. Throughout the summer, they will continue to pop up. And you can see, here's a bud that's still developing and even a smaller bud that will bloom at even a later date. So you can see that they will be progressive. Now, these buds open into this flower, which then turn into this developing seed pod, which is interesting even in this stage. But in my hand, I have an old one from last year, so you can see they continue to get larger and we'll have the seed pods in here. Now, this wonderful tree is front and center at Blooming Acres and really is a very special plant. To be able to enjoy the perfection of these white flowers whenever they pop out in the summer is always a joy. It's impossible to argue with with that pure white magnificence. I enjoy them and make a point of coming out to see which one's around the corner whenever I can. The final summer blooming shrub I'd like to share with you is this beautiful yellow blooming St. John's wort. Now this is not the kind that people associate with anti-depression. That's a little annual herby kind of a plant. This is a woody shrub. It dies down varying degrees depending upon the severity of the winter, but will produce these beautiful yellow buttercup-like flowers all summer. One of the advantages of this plant is it's particularly drought tolerant and will continue to produce flowers even in a dry summer. So that's 3 flowering shrubs or small trees that you can plant once that will give you flowers for years and years to come. It is the farming in New Jersey that makes us the Garden State, and all too often people are forgetting that. One of the projects that I've been working on in conjunction with many of the members of the farm community is to have a license plate that recognizes why we are the Garden State on as many cars as possible. We came up with this beautiful design that has the representative vegetable crops in front, some of the things that New Jersey is most famous for, the tomato, sweet corn, and peaches, as well as some cranberries down here, and a beautiful farm scene with a horse and a silhouette of a barn. It still says the Garden State, unlike some of the other license plates that may represent a really worthy cause, but take the words Garden State off the plate. This plate cost over $50,000, and the money was donated from the farmers and the farm organizations throughout the state of New Jersey. These are currently available at your DMV locations for only $20. That makes them unique. And there is also no annual renewal fee, which again makes them different from all of the other license plates that are available. The final thing that makes them unique is that these plates are also available on commercial, farmer, tractor, and farm use plates. Again, all for $20. Now you can go to your local DMV location and have these plates readily available. All of these must be done by mail. Also, if you want a personalized plate, that too has to be done by mail. You can go to DMV and pick up these forms. This would be the form that you would use for a non-personalized plate in any of the 5 possible characters that you could get down here. Now, this is the form that you would use that if you wanted a personalized plate, which is only available on the passenger. Now, this would cost $20 for the plate and then an additional $50 for the personalization. Again, though, that is only a one-time fee. If you're interested in seeing the plate one more time, you can go to the motor vehicle website, and that way you have a picture of the plate so you can convince yourself that's the one that you want, as well as all the information you may need. Please get a supporting New Jersey agriculture license plate. The money, as it comes in, while it does not go to a fund, will replace the $50,000 put up by the farm community. After that, any extra money will go into the state general fund. There's no cause, only that the farmers are proud that they are why we are the Garden State. Summertime is a time for barbecues and hamburgers and, ooh, chicken on the grill. Nobody really wants to cook in the kitchen. It's just too hot. You don't want the stove, you don't want the oven, but still, you want to have lots of nice and healthy fresh vegetables. And while you can eat them raw and salads, and that's great, sometimes you want something just a little bit different as well. Now, everything I have in front of me can be grown in your garden, except the mushrooms, of course. And you can also purchase them at your local farm market or your supermarket. Just always be sure to ask for Jersey Fresh. We do want to support New Jersey farmers. But there's something we're going to do here on the grill with these veggies that's easy, delicious, and won't make your kitchen all hot. Now you can see all the ingredients I have in front of me, but don't think you're limited to just these vegetables. Anything that you would like. Squash would be good, like zucchini or yellow squash would be excellent in here. You could put tomatoes in if you prefer. Eggplants, I'm sure, would be just yummy. But your selection of vegetables, the important thing is to chop them up so that they'll cook uniformly. You need a little olive oil and some Jane's crazy mixed up salt, which is a combination of salt and pepper and garlic and onion and a few other secret spices, I think, because it's absolutely delicious and really will enhance the flavor of anything you put it on. But it makes cooking these vegetables on the grill that much more easy and delicious. Now, the last thing you need is some aluminum foil, because we're going to wrap these up and put them on the grill. But the important thing next is to chop them up, so I'm going to prepare them and show you how to put them on the grill. Now you can see all of these vegetables are prepared. The broccoli is chopped. The carrots I chopped very fine because it takes a little longer to cook them. A little red pepper, actually mostly for color and flavor as well. The snow peas are easy, they can go in, and I cheated a little. I bought the mushrooms pre-chopped. Okay, this is approximately enough for a family of 4. You can serve this next to a hamburger or a hot dog or chicken, and it makes a nice, complete, healthy meal. And this is how we're going to do this. You spread out your tin foil. Broccoli goes first on the bottom. I happen to like broccoli a lot, so I'm always very generous with that. There we go. Oh, I think I was a little too generous on that one. There we go. Get them pretty even. That looks good. Now I do chop up the stems, and again, I try to chop the stems a little bit finer than the florets because they also take a little bit longer to cook. Now I'm going to put the onions. Of course, onions are one of those things that if you like them, you use a lot. If you don't like them, you don't need too many. You don't have to chop them. They cook just fine as rings. We go, just put them, kind of scatter them about a bit. I think this one needs a few more. That works out pretty well. Okay, some carrots. This is when it starts to look really pretty. Peppers for more color. Look at how beautiful that is. Snow peas. Use all of them. Those are delicious. Mushrooms. Here we go. Oop, one's trying to get away. And lastly, this is mixed mesclun greens. You can buy them, you can grow them, just sprinkle them a little bit on top. The flavors are wonderful. Plus, you get the texture, the different texture once it's cooked, as well as the different color shades of green and purple and a little bit of almost red. Okay, there we go. We have built them. Now, a little olive oil. Little dab will do. You don't want to do too much. And Crazy Janes. Now here's the fun part. You just fold them up. And this is how you put them on the grill. Takes about 10 minutes. And then you eat them. So I'm going to wrap these up, put them out, and then we're going to have some lunch. Okay, on the grill. Now I like to put them way in the back, not directly over the flame so that they don't burn on the bottom. It's a medium flame. Close it up. I don't like it all the way closed because, again, things tend to get smoky. There we go. We'll be back in 10 minutes and have a wonderful, healthy lunch. I think they're ready. Okay. Oh, they smell wonderful. All that steam coming out. Oh, that is magical. Now, not only is this delicious and good for you, but I really want to encourage you to support your local farmers in buying your produce throughout the summer. If you're not sure where your local farm market may be or where a farm may be near you, please go to the New Jersey Farm Bureau website with the Produce Growers Directory. That website is www.njfb.org/directory. Or you can go to the New Jersey Farm Bureau website and click on the directory. It will be there. There you can sort by either the town nearest you, by the farm, or by the produce you're interested in. And you can locate the best, closest, freshest source of New Jersey produce nearest you. Okay, that's the Produce Growers Directory, and you can enjoy farm fresh food just like this, made in your home from the farm closest to you. Join me next time here at Home with Peggy, and we'll have wonderful things for the fall season and preparing for closing up your garden for the winter and all kinds of wonderful things. Join me then. Thanks.